Iron Man may be returning to the MCU, while another Marvel star is set to join the Transformers G.I. Joe crossover. And then there's a new project based around Zack Snyder's masterpiece 300. Learn about this and much more here in this week's KinoCheck News. A new hunt is imminent. This time, the Predator may be targeting Elle Fanning. Based on new information, the actress may be taking on the starring role in Predator: Badlands. Earlier this year, it was announced that Prey director Dan Trachtenberg would be directing and writing the screenplay for a standalone Predator film called Badlands. Following the worldwide acclaim for Prey, the new project appears to be a high priority for 20th Century Studios. The search for a suitable cast is in full swing. According to Deadline, the cast is now likely to be led by Maleficent star Elle Fanning, who is currently in negotiations with the studio. The plot of Badlands is still being kept under wraps. Insider sources indicate that the sequel, Prey 2, is also still in the works, which could possibly be set in the turmoil of the Second World War. The release plans for Badlands and Prey 2 are currently still unknown, but if production goes smoothly, which is scheduled to begin at the end of this year, Badlands could be released as early as next year. However, it remains to be seen whether the decision will again be made to make the movie available via Hulu in the United States. First hinted at the end of Transformers Rise of the Beasts and officially confirmed a short time later, a Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover is in the works. And none other than one of the hottest blockbuster actors of our time is set to take on the lead role. We're talking about Thor star Chris Hemsworth, who is in final negotiations with Paramount according to Deadline. Hemsworth, who was last seen as the mad warlord Dementus in the action hit Furiosa: A Mad Max Saga, seems to have taken a liking to the Transformers universe. After all, he is also providing the voice to Optimus Prime in the upcoming animated film Transformers 1. The idea of a crossover between the Transformers and the G.I. Joe agents has been around since the 1980s, when the two franchises first met in the famous comic series G.I. Joe and the Transformers. So it was only a matter of time before this event would be brought to the big screen. It is still unclear who will direct the planned Transformers x G.I. Joe crossover. One obvious candidate would naturally be Stephen Cable Jr., who already directed Transformers 7 Rise of the Beasts. Either way, the production of the blockbuster remains in trusted hands. Michael Bay, Lorenzo di Bonaventura, and Steven Spielberg will once again be working together as producers. So, it's happening after all. Bill Skarsgård will take on the role of the horror clown Pennywise in the prequel series, It, Welcome to Derry. Very few people might have expected this, given that Skarsgård repeatedly stated that he would not be reprising the role. Since then, a lot seems to have happened behind the scenes. As Deadline reports, Skarsgård will be involved in the prequel series as an executive producer in addition to the leading role. As the series title, Welcome to Derry, already suggests, the small town of the same name will once again be at the center of the story. It has been terrorized by an evil being for centuries, every 27 years to be precise. The plot of the series takes us back to the early 1960s and will once again focus on a group of young people who have to confront the creature. Andy Muschietti, who previously directed It and It Chapter 2, will co-direct the project with his sister Barbara Muschietti and will also direct a number of episodes, including the pilot one. The production of Welcome to Derry is in the hands of HBO Max and Warner Bros. Television. There is no exact release date yet. With the 2006 release of 300, Zack Snyder directed a visually stunning and extremely bloody action epic that set new standards in the field of comic book adaptations. A sequel followed in 2014, but was unable to match the success and quality of its predecessor. Now, 10 years after Part 2, Warner wants to return to the Spartans, this time in the form of a prequel series. The 300 series will deal with the backstory of the film of the same name. However, more details about the story are not yet known. According to Variety, though, there are indications that those responsible at Warner are apparently toying with the idea of Zack Snyder making a comeback. He could be involved in the series in two roles, as a producer and director. However, the project is currently still at an early age of development, which is why the release date has not yet been set. In any case, Snyder first wants to continue expanding his Rebel Moon universe on Netflix. The multiverse adventure, Deadpool and Wolverine, is already considered one of the highlights of the 2024 cinematic year. At Marvel, they seem to be very pleased with the blockbuster. Director Sean Levy is now considered a top candidate to direct another MCU event. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the director was offered the director's position for Avengers 5 several months ago. However, Levy had turned it down due to scheduling difficulties. Now though, it seems that a lot is happening behind the scenes. As Deadline reports, the Free Guy director is once again on the shortlist. It also appears that he has already been given the first draft of the script by author Michael Waldron. Whether Shawn Levy will accept the offer remains uncertain, however. Currently, Levy is heavily involved in the production and direction of the final season of Stranger Things and is planning his own Star Wars film as well. Details regarding the plot of Avengers 5 remains unknown. Following the departure of Jonathan Majors, the question of who the main villain will be is still unanswered. Initial rumors point to Doctor Doom or Galactus, who will already feature in the Fantastic Four. A recasting of Kang cannot be ruled out either. It is currently expected that over 60 characters from the MCU will make an appearance in the film, including familiar faces such as Mark Ruffalo, Chris Hemsworth, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Tom Hiddleston. This time, special emphasis will be placed on ensuring that the heroes appear as equal as possible in the movie without highlighting individual characters. We could also be in for an actual surprise. Robert Downey Jr. told Esquire magazine that he would definitely enjoy playing Iron Man one more time. According to his own statements, there is no other character that is so strongly connected to his DNA. A return of Iron Man would make perfect sense in the context of the Avengers movies. After all, several variants of well-known characters have already been established across the multiverse. This would certainly be a convenient way to bring back at least one version of the likable billionaire back into the franchise. The currently targeted release date for Avengers 5 is May 1st, 2026. In 2016, Sony Pictures gave us a very different type of animated film with Sausage Party. Vulgar, explicit, and utterly brutal. This crazy mix went down pretty well with viewers, as the movie made $140 million worldwide on a modest budget of around $19 million. 8 years later, the sequel is just about to be released in the form of a series, and now we have the first pictures. In Sausage Party Foodtopia, Frank, Brenda, and the other Foods want to build their own food society after the events of its predecessor. The fact that this is likely to prove extremely difficult can be assumed from the first images. We see the three main characters in the finest Rambo-style moments before a fight, and Bagel Sammy also has to serve as a means of transportation on a cable car. We also catch a glimpse of an orange wearing a necklace made of teeth. Is this perhaps the antagonist? What is certain though is that the sequel will also be far from innocent. In an interview with Screen Rant, lead actor Seth Rogen described the series as unbelievably shocking and exactly what the world needs right now. In addition to Rogen, top-class stars such as Kristen Wiig, Michael Cera, and Edward Norton will once again voice the Foods. The series is set to be released on Amazon Prime Video on July 11, 2024. The Watch Dogs movie continues to take shape. In addition to Talk to Me actress Sophie Wilde, The Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes star Tom Blythe is now joining the cast of the video game adaptation. As Deadline reports, he will be playing one of the main roles. The story of the movie is still being kept under wraps, but it can be expected that it will be based on the games. The Watch Dogs universe takes us into the underworld of various fictionalized cities, where hackers have to deal with large corporations, crime bosses, and other opposing groups. The Watch Dogs movie will be directed by Matteo Turri, who is known primarily for genre works such as Hostel and Meander. Turri is also planning a television adaptation of the acclaimed action-adventure game A Plague Tale: Innocence. The script for Watch Dogs was penned by Christy LeBlanc, known for the science fiction thriller Oxygen. A release date has not been set yet. So that's it for this week's KinoCheck News. Do you have any other pieces of news you'd like to share? Then let us know in the comments. Discuss your thoughts, like the video, and then check out some of our other content on our channel. This week, for instance, we take a look at the upcoming Fantastic Four movie starring fan favorite Pedro Pascal. Have a good time, and thanks for watching. See you next week for more KinoCheck News.